The objective of this lesson is to evaluate algebraic expressions. And there is some information that you would find in your textbook. It says replacing a variable in an expression by a number, and then finding the value of the expression is called evaluating the expression for the variable. When finding a value of an expression, remember to follow the order of operations that were given in section 1.7. All right, this is a little bit like having a play in, say, a football program. You've got a particular play, and the play doesn't have any value until you send in the players. Well, an algebraic expression does not have a value until you send in the numbers. So let's look at some examples. All right, number one, it says evaluate the expression for x is 4, y is 3, z is 5. And here is the expression. This is like the play. So I have z minus x plus y. Just like the coach, I'm ready now to send the players in to see what's going to happen with this play. Let me get myself a little bit more workspace. There we go. In the place of z, I will put a 5 because it says minus. In the place of x, I will put a 4 plus. In the place of y, I will put a 3. So I have just sent these players in to their positions, and now I'm going to run the play, which means to use the order of operations to find out the value. Now the problem has become just like the previous lesson. No parentheses, no exponents, no multiplication or division. I have some subtraction and some addition. I'll do the subtraction because it comes first as I look left to right. 5 minus 4 is 1, plus 3, and 1 plus 3 is 4. So the value of this expression is 4 when these are the numbers. If I had another question with different values for x, y, and z, the value of the expression would change, just like the result of a football play would change if you change the players. All right, number 2. The play, or the expression, is y to the third minus 4x. Evaluate this when x is 1 and y is 3. So I have 3 to the third power, that's putting in the y, minus 4 times 1. So I have sent in x and y's numbers, and now I have an expression to evaluate. I don't have any parentheses, but I have exponents. I have 3 to the third power. Remember that that means 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 3 is 27. So this was just a little bit in my mind to get this 27. You certainly could use your calculator to do that. Now I have subtraction, and multiplication. So I'm going to do my multiplication. That'll give me 4. So I have 27 minus 4, do the subtraction, for 23. The value of this expression when x is 1 and y is 3 is 23. All right, the next one, I have the expression, I have 2xy squared minus 5. I send in the correct numbers from the instructions. That's 2 times, because when you have a 2 next to an x, it's implied multiplication. 2 times 5 times, the value of y is 2, and that's supposed to be raised to the second power. Only the 2 is getting raised to the second power, minus 5. So I have sent in the numbers, and now I use Aunt Sally, and I'm saying that with quotes, to determine the order. All right, there's no parentheses, but there's an exponent. 2 to the second power means 2 times 2, which is 4. Copy down the rest of the expression. And now I have multiplication, multiplication, subtraction. So I'll do my multiplication left to right. 2 times 5 is 10. Copy down the problem. 10 times 4 is 40. Copy down the problem. and 40 minus 5 is 35. So the value of this expression is 35 given that x number and that y. I'll do a few more of these. And in this lesson, I don't do every single problem that is similar to that one in the homework. I've just chosen some to do. Okay, I have y to the fourth plus parentheses z minus x. Let's substitute in our numbers. In the place of y, I put a 4. So it's now 4 to the fourth power plus, open parentheses, in the place of z, I put 5, minus, in the place of x, I put 4. All right, so now I've substituted in the numbers, and now I'm going to do the order of operations. Parentheses has the highest priority. I have 5 minus 4, which is 1. I don't need the parentheses anymore, so I have 4 to the fourth power plus 1. So I'm going to go off to the side. 4 to the fourth power is 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. And 64 times 4, and this is a calculator activity, is 256. So I have 256 plus 1, which is 257. Okay, let's take a look at, and you can see that I've skipped numbers. This would be similar to number 6 in your assignment. So I'm supposed to evaluate 3y minus 6 over x. So I have 3 times the value of y from over here is 6, minus 6 over the value of x is 3. So I'm going to simplify what's in that numerator. If I look at that, I have multiplication, then subtraction. So I'm going to multiply for 18 minus 6 over 3. So all I've done so far is this part. And now 18 minus 6, give myself just a little more room, is 12 over 3. And 12 over 3 is 4. If this expression had had a more complicated numerator and denominator, I would have broken them into 2 pieces and evaluated the top and evaluated the bottom and then done the division. But I didn't think I had to in this one. All right, the last example problem I want to look at is in the form of a table. And although it looks very, very different, this process is just the same. There is going to be an expression. In this one, the expression 16t squared, so it's 16 times t squared, gives the distance in feet that an object falls after t seconds. Meaning, if you were at the top of a building and dropped an object, please don't do that, but if you did and it began to fall, each second that it was falling, this gives you how far it falls at the end of that second. All right, so this really is 4 separate questions. All right, the first one, it is saying evaluate 16t squared when t is 9. So that is 16 times 9 squared. Order of operations says to do the exponents first. So let me see if I can get that just right. There we go. So I will do the square first. 9 times 9 is 81. Then grab my calculator, and I have 16 times 81 is 1,296. That's how many feet this object would fall at the end of 9 seconds. Now, let's find out when t is 10. Well, I'm going to have 16 times, well, let me write down the expression, 16t squared. So it's 16 times 10 squared. This time I'm plugging in 10. Well, exponents first. 10 squared is 100. 16 times 100 is 1600. All right, next one, let's let t be 11. So I have 16t squared. So the formula stays the same every time. So it's 16 times 11 squared. And do the exponents first. 11 squared is 121. So it is 16 times 121 using my calculator, and I get 1,936. 1936. And finally, when the time is 12 seconds, how far will it fall? 16t squared is the formula. 16 times 12 squared. Evaluate that. 12 times 12 is 144. I need to multiply that by 16. And I get 2,304. 2,304. Now, that's the end of that problem. I would like you just to notice that if you saw how far it had gone in 9 seconds and then 10 and 11 and 12, that each additional second, it is going further and further. In other words, it's speeding up as it's traveling toward Earth. And I think that you know just from your common experience and from maybe some science study that this object is accelerating as it's traveling toward Earth. So that would be something that you would study a lot further in a physics class. But in here, this is still just to evaluate an expression. It's just that you have the same expression 4 times, different values for the variable. I hope that helps. There'll be a few additional problems in your homework, but you should have enough skills to do those.